Yeah.
Hi, I'm Karla Lane. I just celebrated 13 years of being a hardcore performer. As a plus size girl, always have been, and didn't before they even had the term BBW. I was fucking on camera. They just put the cute chubby girl in the video. That was me.
I'm Miss LingLing. I am a performer as well as a cam girl. Cam girl is my main thing that I do. I sometimes film, but I do my own content mostly. Sorry about my voice. So I will try to speak as loudly as possible. But social media and webcamming, that's it. And then just a little bit of my own content.
Who are you guys? Does anybody want to say hi? My name is. Are there any performers in the audience? Awesome. Are there any producers in the audience? And are you fans in the audience?
No.
No, okay, this is all. I don't think they're allowed. Oh, I think they are. They're all allowed, but we're back here.
We can still be fans. Just because we're producers. And
I was hoping everybody would
fans,
be
for God's sakes. Why are you not here?
If you're not a fan of Stage Born, what are you doing
Why are you
here?
Yeah, I did the ball. That was your opportunity.
Wow. See, I made another person's day.
He's a producer now.
Hey, we have a fan. Awesome. Great. So I have
All
a
the
little.
producers in the back.
I prepared a little paper, a little bit about like what my thoughts are about BBW and plus size as an industry, and then I have some moderated questions for our lovely ladies, and then we'll open it up to you guys. So there was this report released by a terrible tube site, X Hamster. I don't like tube sites, but I am such a data whore that I read this article and I was like, okay, what are people on X Hamster looking at? And so the global trends.
You gotta come back to the tube site discussion because
we will later.
they're not
for
all
sure.
terrible.
Yeah, let's wait for the questions for later, okay? Thanks. So I don't care for X Hamster. I did used to run my own tube site, so it's not a big deal. I'm pro and anti. But the study said that the top 3 growing trends in porn for X Hamster, according to user searches, were pantyhose, hand jobs, and strap-ons. Those are devoid of any body shape, monomers, or anything like that. The ones that I could find that were based on a body were granny, daddy, and wife. And I think that's like fair to say those are the things that are the trends that people are searching for that are up. Meanwhile, the search term for BBW on X Hamster went down 58%. Chubby went down 50%, and I didn't even know that that was a key word. Otherwise, I would have been banking on that shit 15 years ago. So, okay, chubby, got it. And pregnant went down too, 38%. The only thing less popular than these search terms that were dropping was the term POV, which got me to thinking, POV is popular, right? Maybe it's not the bodies. What if it's not the bodies that are going off trend? In fact, I know it's not the bodies that are going off trend. The women on this panel are more successful now than they've been in the entire time that they've been in this industry. It's the way that people are looking for porn and searching for porn and who these people are that is changing. For instance, female customers are looking and searching. That wasn't happening 5 years ago. That wasn't happening 10 years ago. And the X Hamster review, and this is just one review. I have a lot of other ones that I can't source. But this one review had a 3% rise in female viewership within 1 year, 12 months. That's a lot when you're thinking about a free tube site. A 3% rise. So that got me to thinking, I don't think women type in search terms like BBW or plus size or fat. I think they're the ones typing in daddy, actually. And then I go further in the article, and lo and behold, the top search terms for women on X Hamster is daddy. So, more and more, it is who we are and what we do and what we want that is looked for, and I think it is far more important than our BMI. That's body mass index. We don't need to get into that. So I started doing various forms of sex work when I was 18. I started with phone sex. I was even talking to someone last night. I had fake pictures of like a skinny person, and I had a really great voice. I was 18 years old. I made a killing But as I started doing phone sex, that's when I started doing it full time, that's when sort of my art creative habit started to kick in. And I started taking photographs of myself, both for a creative purpose of having like this alter ego that was actually my real self, in contrast to my sex worker persona. But taking the photos of myself actually turned into a business process. I really wanted to start putting together an online sex work business in 2002. That would be centered around who I really was or who I felt like being in my fantasy life. Courtney is my real name. I didn't want to take on another persona like I did in phone sex. I didn't want to pretend I was someone else. I didn't want to fake anything. That's why I called my first project nofo.com, which is no fakes. The site is 15 years old this month. That means my business survived the recession, you guys. Just saying. And one of the biggest catalysts for starting that business in 2002 was that I couldn't get a job on the alt porn sites that I was applying for. I will just call out suicide girls in this room right here, right now. I applied for them. They accepted me, but in my first photo shoot, they rejected it and told me that I didn't even try to suck in. And of course I didn't. I was 19 and I couldn't get a job at Suicide Girls because I couldn't suck in my belly. I was pissed. So I grew up a feminist. My dad's a feminist. I'm a feminist. I was raised by riot girls, which are like punks. So I said, you know what? Fuck them. I know how to code a website. I'll make my own damn site. And one thing this room may not know about feminist history, and that's okay because not really anybody does. It's like an academic field, for God's sakes, at this point. Is that the third wave feminism that happened in the 90s was all about sex work. Kathleen Hanna was one of the founders of the Riot Girl movement, and she was a stripper. So when the founders of Riot Girl movement the stripper, Lydia Lunch made a porn with Richard Kern, and she was also a third wave feminist artist. So being a feminist and a porn star has, for me, always kind of been an obvious match, not something that feels like a contrast or an oxymoron. Furthermore, I was heavily inspired by the fat positive movement, especially in the early 2000s and late 1990s. And my life was changed by two women in particular, Nomi Lamb, who is an academic writer and a musician and an actress, and Beth Ditto, who's super famous now as a fashion designer, and she was the leader of the band The Gossip. So those are my fat icons. There's such a huge influence on like what I do and where I came from. But I was in fact creating a legacy in 2002, and I didn't know it. My frustration 15 years ago was that the adult industry didn't accept or understand the body positive movement, or how to incorporate it into their world. And to be fair, the fat positive community also didn't know what to do with a porn slut. So honestly, it's still one community, the fat positive community, that desperately still needs to grasp the idea of sex work and the different kinds of porn that we do as fat women. For a long time, I was absolutely alone in between two worlds. Feminist world, fat world, porn world. There was no one guiding me in the industry until I came here to AVN. I didn't know how to model until I met April Flores and Carlos Batts on the industry floor in 2009. I walked right up to them and said, hi. I was scared shitless. She was so pretty. This year I'm nominated for 3 performer-based awards because of their generosity. And Carlos Batts is no longer with us, but I always have to kiss the sky and thank him for teaching me how to be a model, so thank you, Carlos. I didn't know how to edit films until Ian Mackay, who is an alt porn director who only shot skinny girls, took my phone call at 2 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday when I was struggling to finish my second film. It was due in the morning, and the film ended up getting nominated for Best Soundtrack at the AVN Awards. I couldn't have done it without Ian Mackay either. And then after that, I've made 40 films since that first struggle, and I couldn't have done it without asking for help. 15 years is a long time to be in the industry, and I'm excited to talk to Karla, who's been here for 13 and can talk about the longevity and the changes that we have been through together and apart, because we only met 3 years ago.
I know. We've run in the same circles for years and years and years. We have the same best friend.
Yeah.
Didn't know each other though, and it's one of those things. You went with the feminist route, I was always the dirty little cunt in the room. I seriously, like, I have the sweetest little face, and people hired me because of that. And then the things I would do to people, I'm like, I've done 40 guy gangbangs because it was just given to me. I've literally been on a set before. I've literally been on a set before where I wasn't technically paid to be there, but I ended up fluffing every guy there because what? It was just something I wanted to do. Eventually they paid me, but it was more like, hey, you want to come back? You were good at that. I'm like, thank you. And it was a thing. They didn't want to hire me all the time because, you know, oh, she's fat or whatever. It was always she's so sweet. Let's see what happens. And then people are like, wait, she sells. Let's keep adding her and adding her. So for me, I started working with bigger companies very on in my career and just doing the things that nobody else would do. I'm like, yeah, I'll do this. You want me to do that? I'm in. So when we talk about how she did her thing and I did my thing, I literally did not have a website until about 1.5 years ago. I've never done a film until probably last weekend, where I'm like, hey, let's produce this, let's do that. I've always just been a performer, and seeing her thing and doing that, it's like, ooh, maybe I can do what she does.
You can do better. Thank you. So I'll finish the paper and then I'm gonna go right back to Karla right after I stay with this. So clearly my biggest advice to everybody in the room from the get-go is to cherish your community resources. When you're on set, learn someone else's job. Help your new friend learn how to model. Find someone to teach you something that you don't know. We look around at each other and ask, how is she doing so well? And that reminds me, we also need to talk about our struggles and not be afraid to ask for help. When you are at an event like this, give everyone kindness and respect. They deserve it. Not only do you never know who you might work with next, but honestly, this is the adult community. Let's be adults. Seek out your coworkers. Let them know they're doing a good job. You're all doing a really good job. Because the future is about us, ladies.
My fault.
Not one of us needs to compete with each other to succeed. You and me, the people on this panel, everyone in this room, made it here to this convention this year because in one way or another, we have all innovated. We have survived. Like everybody in this room, we've been through shit. We've adapted to the changing technology and politics around us that make the adult industry an interesting and challenging place for all of us. In 2018, the most successful people in this room are the ones who have learned to collaborate with others, not compete well. Competition between us is for the days when studios held us hostage. They don't anymore. In 2018, they need us more than we need them. Yeah. Okay, yeah? Do we all agree? Co-sign. All right, awesome. I was like, God, I hope they agree with me, or they could put up a big fight about it. Miss LingLing has been in the top 5 of the many vids BBW Performer of the Year Award for weeks. Yeah. Busty Cookie runs her own porn site out of the UK and has her own television show, okay? These accomplishments make it possible. No, they make it easy to make the kind of porn we want to make and sell it to the people that we want to have it. Before 2018, we didn't have things like access to our own data, access to our own websites or customer bases, access to our sugar daddies. Studios are a way for us to showcase our very best and make high production work with professionals and be seen by millions of people. But the road to these glorious moments, like being here in this room on this panel, is paved by women and men and non-binary workers in the adult industry who are banding together and making it work for themselves. I would like you to join me in welcoming these incredible women to the panel and for acknowledging all the performers in this room today who came. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming.
So we did go down the panel line and we said a little bit just to introduce ourselves to the few people who are here. Now we're a little bit filled in, so I do want to go down one more time. So name and main porn related biz, overall time in the biz, where you live and work from, and what you think you credit your success to.
Okay, Lila Lovely. I am a hardcore performer. I've been in the industry about 4 years now. That is mainly what I do is perform. I've got my own website. I'm currently based here in Las Vegas. Moved here about 6 months ago so that I can be close to all the talent and stay working constantly. And I credit my Success to myself, really, in keeping myself. It's not really up to anyone else. It's up to myself to get my ass motivated every day and call those people and make those contacts to make that content, to get everything, keep it all going constantly. You can't stop, because once you stop, it all falls apart. So you just have to keep going. Yeah.
I'm Busty Cookie. I'm from London. So I've been doing it about 12 years. I wanted to be a plus size model, not porn. And that didn't happen, and I thought, I got offered a shoot through Facebook for Playboy, and then I was like, okay, where do I sign up? What do I do? And they gave me a shoot, and then it just all went crazy. And then I ended up doing television. I quit my job, and yeah, I've been doing porn ever since. It's just my life now. Yeah, but I do mainstream as well under my real name. I do like music videos, I do producing, I do camera work, and I write my own films. And I've just done my series, Large and in Charge. I'm going to be doing another BBW series in the UK. Most of my content is on television, which is television you would watch here. So I don't know what you call your television now. Is it the same thing? Okay, yeah, TV or something. Yeah, yeah, that's where it's played. And I've done a few DVDs, but mostly online, web, VOD stuff, yeah, and TV. That's it.
Hi, I'm Karla Lane, 13 years in the business, LA based, LA born and raised. I'm a horrible porn star. When it comes to things like that, I only show up when people tell me to show up, and besides that, I'm just working on everything else.
I'm Miss LingLing.
Wait, you credit your success to just walk?
Yeah, hell yeah. Hell yeah, and a smile. That's it. That's what's gotten me far. It's just smiling to people like me.
Sorry about my voice. I'm Miss LingLing. I am 38. I just started the business 2 years ago. Barely past 2 years. This is my third AVN. I came to AVN a week after my first scene 3 years ago. Well, 2 years ago. And
yeah, we all
I
that
started before that only doing webcam for about 5 months, on and off, doing Skype shows and my free cams. And yeah, being with all these people who are from 13, years in the business. She started like the day after her 18th birthday as a baby, and I come into this business 36 with kids, and I had to figure out a way to, if I was gonna do it, I was gonna do it, because I don't have the 13 years, when the glory days of porn. I have to figure out what's working now here with Snapchat. This is how I do it on my schedule, on my time, around my custody orders. I fly and travel all over the United States. To work with everybody. I wanted to meet everybody, and I had a lot of ups and downs with meeting everybody, and that, I had a very rough start, but it was a good lesson for me to learn, and it taught me a lot about the kind of porn I wanted to make.
What did I say to you when I met you? She's going to be a star.
Yeah, I met them
Yeah.
at your guys' booth at the first AVN. Didn't know any stars.
I think she's here now.
And I just held her boobs, and she goes, "Honey, you're going to be a star." I'm like, okay. Can you say it to my Snapchat?
Karla, will you give us a sense of what your career trajectory has been like? You kind of talked about how you started, but like, who have you worked for, and how have your shoots changed over the decade?
When somebody was going up, down, all around, it's like this. I am literally the token fat girl. I will be hireable for a year and a half by every major company. I've worked from Evil Angel, Naughty America, score groups, and all those kind of, besides Reality Kings and all those little ones, I worked with a lot of them. They've always just, once in a while, hey, we need you. I'm like, yeah, I'm here. But then I'm the popular thing. know, it's like you put her in the movies, like, okay, cute. And then there's a year or so where you don't work with any of the companies. You have to go with your normal people, you know, the ones that work with plus size things. So I feel like right now I'm on a little uprise. I'm like, everybody like, and it's like, ooh, I want you. I'm like, ooh, you okay? Yay! I'm the new hot commodity. And then in 6 months from now I won't be. But it's been a roller coaster, and it's going from being the most popular person to maybe not so much, to just being me. And again, with my career, it's always just been, I was never a social media person. When they say Snapchat and they say all this, I literally did not have social media until 4 years ago. And that was because somebody pushed it on me, and they're like, hey, do you know how popular you are? I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't even watch my porn. I don't Google myself. I have no idea. Then I got a Twitter. The first week I got Twitter, I got 5,000 followers. And I'm like, ooh. I'm like, what? I had to verify and do one of those like little videos to verify. Hi, I'm Karla, blah blah blah, and my real name's Karla. So I've never been able to do that like separation shit.
Same here.
But it was like, oh my god, people actually like me. Like I know I've created content for so long, but I didn't know that related to people. I would just assume it was a paycheck at the end of the day and I walk away. But when you relate that to people actually want to get to know you, I'm like, ooh. But now my Twitter's been deleted 6 times. If I make it through this week without it being deleted, I would be very proud of myself.
And just one follow-up question for you. You are one of 3 people who has won the BBW Performer of the Year official trophy.
Yes.
It's not given out on stage, and it was canceled this year.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with it being a
How
fan
did winning
award,
that
though.
award change your
things?
trajectory?
Honestly,
Was it good for you?
No,
Lots
it
of
was pretty
visibility?
bad. No,
Very well.
it
Any
did not go
jobs?
well. It did not go well. I had more setback because I was and this is my biggest problem. I'm always the smallest BBW in the room, but in the hall, I'm literally one of the biggest girls there. When I'm standing next to the Jules Jordan booth, you know, he's never gonna hire me because I'm not his particular size. But in the BBW world, I get shamed for being the smallest. But it's one of those things. I'm like, I'm over 250 pounds. I'm a size 14, 16, depending on the day. Some days even at 18, don't judge. But it's one of those things. I'm always criticized for being tinier, and that was the biggest downfall of winning that. I was pushed to the point that I didn't feel comfortable in my own community. Like the community I helped build, I almost got pushed out because I wasn't big enough. And I was like, okay. But now I don't give a shit. I'm like, I got this. I'm here, like me or not. I know. Yeah, I know.
The shoulders
I'm
are
like,
crying.
I know.
I was glad she won it, because if I won it, they would be killing me.
Oh yeah.
She stole it.
I think now with the fan award and how they move, I actually like it better because none of us can do anything. It's our fans that voted us in. Whoever gets this trophy on tomorrow is the fan voted. Awesome. We don't have any criticism. We can't point at fingers at people that don't know us and think it's because of that particular reason. These are the people that actually decided to pay for your stuff, watch your stuff wherever they're watching your content enough to go on the website, click a few buttons and vote.
Yeah. Is it fair to say, for me, I feel like the visibility is more important than actually winning?
Yes.
Does everybody here
100%.
feel that way?
Yeah. 100%.
Cool. Yeah.
The domination.
Because
and whole
the
thing
actual
about the voting
award
is
isn't going to gain
No.
you more.
And it sounds like a
jobs.
nightmare, actually. I I like my Twitter account. It took me like 15 years to get 28,000 followers.
Yeah.
Plus the fan voting thing, every time somebody votes, they tweet that, and the fan
If
voting
they
thing is
tweet
like
it.
the gift that
Yeah.
just keeps giving.
No.
Yes.
It's one of those things. It's the acknowledgement. It's like getting on the bandwagon.
Yeah.
One person does it. Oh wait, people are actually doing this. Let me do that too. And it becomes a thing. So yeah.
I like it and I don't like it. I like that, yes, it's a fan vote, but I don't like how people can manipulate that and be like, you know what, if you vote for me, I'll give you these videos. And so they're buying these votes. So there's some people who are really savvy and who can do these things, and it's all fair. There's no rules against it, but it doesn't feel very
feel
good,
nice.
does it? You know,
I'm
and
guilty of that.
it's
You
Yes, yeah,
I'm guilty. We'll get to my point about that.
and so and then just the variety of people in our category, from cam girls to performers, is frustrating as well.
It is frustrating. I think having spoken with AVN in preparation for this panel, and also out of outrage, I was outraged when they got rid of the category, so I DM'd
We had that
them.
conversation.
I was like, what have you done? And she was like, hold on. I was like, everybody's mad. I don't know what to do. They're all texting me, freaking out. I don't know. I'm not in AVN. They said there simply wasn't enough content. And I challenged them on that. And I said, if you have a fan favorite category, I will help you find the 50 girls to fill in that. But you need to start paying attention, because there are 50 girls. And maybe they did start out as cam performers. I know to the hardcore people here, I do hardcore too, I know it's really frustrating. But one of the bridges I want to gap specifically on this panel is somebody does go from camming into hardcore. And we need to not point our fingers at them. We need to be like, look at you, you're amazing. Come in with us.
For sure.
So I think for me, the fan favorite is absolutely the gift that keeps on giving. But the thing about the performer, the thing about the award that's given on stage by AVN is that it creates awareness. And 5 years ago, they helped trans women accept the trophy on stage, and that's a permanent award. And that is my goal. That is my personal goal, is that the plus size performer of the year, because we don't all work in BBW. I don't work in BBW fetish unless I'm paid or hired or invited. I work in plus size or queer lesbian porn. I'm a crossover. So for me, I feel like we do need like a BBW fan or BBW scene or BBW movie, but I think that there should be a permanent plus size performer of the year award given on stage every year.
Yeah, correct.
And I'm not going to be happy until that happens.
So let's talk about.
Sorry, hold on. The questions will come later.
It's not a
This-
question. It's
this-
to talk to how to get that done.
Okay, yeah, that's going to be part of the discussion. Can I make sure we get the panelists? Thank you. Okay.
That can be
Awesome.
done, but
All right.
that way.
I want to talk to you about social media. And I know you do Snapchat too, so maybe you can help. Can you talk about sort of like your general outline? Like, what's your plan? Like, your business motivation with social media? How do you get people to connect?
So
You have a ton of followers. Like,
yeah, and I really took it seriously this last year. Like, I really just was like, I took it seriously, and I saw the response that I got, and that motivated me to keep going with it. So I was never a big Instagrammer, so I really started to Instagram pretty heavily, and I put a lot of thought into every single photo that I put up there. Sure, I'll put up a little selfie here and there, but I do put out like my best face out there, and I try to follow a lot of girls that I really look up to, and that maybe I can kind of see myself in line with them, but they're maybe on this higher level, and I kind of really closely watch these girls and how they're doing things, what are they using for hashtags, who are they following, things like that. And I really just pay attention to this stuff. Snapchat went crazy for me this last year. I had like 14,000 people viewing my snaps per day. It was insanity. That was my full-time job for a while there. And I was doing some big promos with some girls on Instagram, which was gaining me mad followers every single day. And people were just loving it. They're like, I love like getting up in the morning and having my coffee, and like if you're not there, I am like mad. Like, what is going on? You're like screwing up my routine. So they're like, if you have a YouTube channel, I would be subscribing. So I was like, oh, this is amazing. So I've really just honed in on that, and it makes you people just like to see that other side of you, that you were an actual real person, and they like to have that connection with you, and then they're interested in more of you, then they want to view your porn. And a lot of people start following me that don't even know I do porn, you know, so that's kind of fun too. And so I don't know, I've just really taken it very seriously this year, and I pay careful attention to things.
and I'm going to get really detailed because
Yeah.
there are performers here, so I want to know, how many hours a day do you spend on your computer doing BBW porn, or like Lila Lovely related work?
I couldn't even count. It is all day, every day. It's
All right.
constant. It's constant. I'll wake up in the middle of the night, check my stuff, maybe post, whatever. It's all day, every day.
Cool.
Mhm.
That I figured that's how
Because
it
you want
gets
to
done.
grab people. It's not just like people in my time zone. It's
Mhm.
people all across the world. So
Yeah.
people are waking up all at every hour of the day, all day long. So you want to be grabbing these people all the time.
Two
Mhm.
quick fire off questions.
Yes.
What are your hashtags?
MILF, Huge Naturals.
Huge
BBW, I can't really use much because it's not a searchable hashtag anymore on Instagram. So BBW lovers or BBW gram. You have to be really, because it'll show you some posts, but if you scroll down, it'll say this isn't a searchable hashtag anymore. They've removed it. So you have to be really smart on your hashtags.
That's
I
really
agree.
good to know.
Yeah.
Thank you. And then real quick, what are you doing on your YouTube channel?
I'm not doing a YouTube channel, but I need to be, apparently. I'm like, wait, another thing? It's a lot.
Okay, so this one is directly for Busty Cookie. Obviously, I want to ask you about the UK connection. They have there's different laws in the UK than there is here. There's different fetishes in the UK. When I was doing phone sex, everybody was into spanking and schoolgirls because I used to get UK people all the time calling me because of the hours that I worked. So I want to know what you've learned about your fans in the UK as opposed to in the US.
What, for the sex phone work or?
It's just
Like-
your whole career is sort of split up into two and
it's
also
weird
spread all
because
over
it's
the
everywhere.
place.
So,
So as
Yeah.
far as like adult work goes, can you tell us about your fans in each place and what the difference might be in like work habits and trends?
yes, it's question. That's a good one. So different. Where I'm in the UK, I travel a lot. I go to Europe. I go to Germany, and I find the shows are much better there. No offense to AVN. It's like they're more liberal. They're just more open. You can be nude. You can do toy shows live for 1,000 followers on Plus, and the crowds are crazy for BBW. I mean, all you girls should be coming out there because
I'll get my
we
passport
have
this
before we could do a stage show. It's more, it's just great, and the fans are crazy. They're women, they're men. They just love it. They love big girls, and it's just so popular there. It's a different market, and I'm telling you, the show is amazing. It's such a different level.
It's more of a community,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It's just, it's so different. The UK, it's legal to do sex work, so it's safer for us, which if you escort, I don't know, some of you guys do or not, it's safe. We have a body. In the UK industry, we have the UCAP. They support all the workers. It's a small community because England's not that big, so we know everyone, and if you fuck up, we know about it, and you can't come back from that. I mean, it's just how it is. And because I'm probably one of the top BBWs there, people look up to me, and I get work, and I've started producing for a company called Television X, and they want me to do a BBW everything now, so I'd be like the boss of that, and I'll just be getting all the other BBWs involved. But there's not many BBWs in the UK, so there's probably a handful, probably like 7 that are still working, because people come in and out easy, because they don't, they start and then they think they're going to get the work, and then it's hard to get the work, so they quit. And but I do everything, so that's the thing, you've got to be doing everything, not just one thing. I do extra work, I do mainstream, I do modelling, I do music videos, everything, and producing, writing, and my own website, and Instagram, Snap, what they do. That's the escort. So it's just like, it's doing something, it's just crazy. Yeah. So that's
As
it.
a quick follow-up question, can I ask you, because the work field is smaller and different, you don't have the same like pool of producers or pool of co-stars or something, so you're sort of working in a different operation over there. How do you find gigs? Like, do you audition? Do you go out?
Usually
are you
people come-
networking?
They come to me.
Okay, they're coming to you.
Or I'm with an agency. I'm with a few talent agencies for mainstream stuff, and then I'm not with an agency, but we have like websites like Adult Industry Resources, which is a good one. We have there's another one, I can't remember the name. Sorry. Yeah, there's a few. So they're like forums which they have your picture and your profile, and everyone in the industry is on there. So if you want to find someone to connect with, to do content, you just message them, or you're looking for a certain body type, there's like you search for the body type, and I think that the US should have that, because it's hard, you lot are spread out everywhere and you don't really have one site for, you know, if I come over, I'm like looking for a site, I want to work with some people, I have to meet them at the show, or, you know, I can't find you. Unless I know you, you know?
That's
So
some good
just
advice.
weird. They don't have agencies here. It's just because it's illegal and all the other stuff. I'm just like, this is so stupid. Like, what the hell am I coming here for? It's like, no, I love
The
it.
most puritanical country in the world.
Yeah, it's just weird. It's so funny.
All right, Miss LingLing, now I'm gonna grill you. Top 5 in the BBW at many bits. I'm not gonna ask you how or why because you're pretty. What I actually do want to talk about is the idea of the clip platform itself. So when I was talking earlier in the opening statement about X Hamster and the keyword BBW going down 58% in 1 year, at the same time, ManyVids is number 1, BBW. Number 2, BBW. Number 3, BBW. Or like cream pie and pregnant, right? So it's like this sort of like the porn you'd find in your house, ManyVids.
Yeah.
I would love to hear how you have succeeded at ManyVids. Have other clip platforms been fat positive?
Yeah.
Like
I tried Clips for Sale, but I got frustrated with the platform, with the uploading and the stops and starts and updates, and I just went to ManyVids and I figured out, well, actually I had help on how to set up my store, and I actually got shut down 3 times.
at ManyVids?
At ManyVids for overuse of tagging, mistagging, abusing the tagging system.
Curious.
Because there is a tagging system in place, and I got it back, and I just, you know, I made a few tweaks here and there. If you look at some of my tags, and if you look at BBW, I'm number 1, the first thing that comes up, and there's a reason for that. And as far as the contest, yes, it is important to incentivize contests, because the way ManyVids works is you can purchase a vote. So they made it so that you purchase a vote. And when you come from that platform into something like AVN, where it's only once a year, and you know there are people who are trying to make that happen somehow, where ManyVids just they profit off it.
And they have contests every month.
Every week.
Every week.
Every Wednesday.
There's
any
always
Wednesday,
like an award
constant. And there's always incentives, and you know, there's a little place where you can write what you want, you know, what you're giving, $5 for votes. You can get my Snapchat on sale if you do it through a paid vote. And all it is product placement. I have no problems, because, okay, so I didn't know how rare I was. Kelly Shabari just stopped being the only Asian BBW. Well, she still is, but I mean, she's losing weight and she's not performing. But I didn't know that when coming into the industry that I was going to be so rare. But nobody knew I existed, and I didn't know how to put myself out there. So once I started getting hardcore fans and the splendid daddies, sugar daddies, whatever you want to call it, and I had the option, I said, put your money through a vote, because I need my face up there with those other girls right now, because I don't know how long I'm going to be doing this for, and I just started. I need to place my product higher, and that's why we all love being nominated. And it's almost worse to win something. You just want to get nominated. I just want to make top 5. I'm going to be
If my
11.
face leaves that road,
Yeah,
I'm gonna cry.
because you're always going to be looking right there, and that's all it is. And I don't. A lot of people have problems with that. I don't, because that's how the business works. And we put so much money in investing in all the wrong things sometimes, and it's just like, well, what's it doing you? Everybody thinks I'm so great. I told somebody to buy that for me, and I just said, instead of, you know, a banner on the street, I put it where they were looking, right there on the ManyVids, and I put it in 2 categories, and I made sure that, because of course I wanted to get recognized for Social Media Slayer, because I made more money on my Snapchat than I ever did making videos. Ever. It saved my
You
Christmas
two
last
can talk
year.
about this as much as you want right now.
Yeah, just the Snapchat was, I went at my first award I ever won. I won Best Newcomer of the Year at BBW Con. And I took my phone and I walked all the way to the stage with my phone and I snapped the whole thing and I snapped the whole audience and I shared that with my fans because that one was supposed to be like a fan vote. I didn't know how to, I wasn't on many bits then, so I didn't know how that worked with the buying and whatever, but I made a YouTube about it and that's when YouTube shut a lot of my stuff down too. My Bad Dragon tour reviews got shut down. Yeah, everything. I'm really upset with social media right now. I'm upset with the shadow banning and everything that
I'm mad at Snapchat right now.
just as I learned it and learned how to capitalize on it, I was shut down left and right. They said, listen, we want to put Miss LingLing and not a random Asian girl comes up on Google. It has to be your face. And now it's not still. You still have to put Miss LingLing BBW and have all your searches like not on sensitive. So there is no other place on regular social media. I mean, this is my third, fourth Instagram, you know, all the deletions. Then that's why I said many vids. Someplace where they let you go on the top and keep that. Because if you click on the winners, it stays there for a week. And you can't really do that on Clips for Sale. Clips for Sale is based on who is publishing that minute. So if you don't have content pumping out that second, your name goes on the bottom of the pile and people are just rotating. And there's a game to that too, to the Clips for Sale game. And many of it's made it to where you can do your product placement that way. And so I feel guilty. Maybe I'm not the best, but it got people looking at my content at least and looking at my profile and clicking. And that's when I started getting some sales. And that's
And I get that for the many vids, and I think that's completely valid.
Contest and an
But
award, I
like
think.
for when it came to like the AVN fan favorite award, it's like, well, wait a second, I've put in the work.
Yeah.
Why do I have to work harder now to get your vote? Because you should be voting for me because you've seen the work that I have put in, and that you love it and want to see me win, not because I like you and I'm getting some free shit. I mean, I know it's good, your product placement, I get that, and, you know.
I get it.
You know,
and that's why there
it's
needs to be two. It has to come back.
Right.
There has to be, we should keep the voting process for, you know, everybody, and then have the panel one, the one that is chosen based on our actual performance. Then you know you were the best. Somebody had to review that content, and not the guy who just likes to be squashed by a fat Asian who has the money, and you know, the one guy who's paying for all the votes. It's an actual reviewer who, you know, who look at everything.
Right.
And that's why we want to know how to make that happen.
Yes.
How do we get
So-
back?
And that brings me to a part where I want to like ask everybody on the panel, and we will get to discussion, I promise. I feel like a lot of bubbling questions happening, and we'll definitely make a lot of room for that. But I want 15 more minutes of just these babes. So two things came up that I want to talk about is I want to talk about the fetish aspect of things. So we use these hashtags BBW. All of us use the hashtag, but that's just the shape of our body. That's just our size. We also have other things that we're doing with the porn, and sometimes it feels, you know, like you're saying, like looking for a fat Asian to squash you or whatever. Like that is a BDSM thing, you know. Like you really like hardcore sex. That you are an XXX hardcore girl. Do you feel like you want full integration into the all size mainstream porn world, or do you think that there needs to be the plus size world and the BBW world, or does it need to be both?
It needs to be both.
Can you speak to it?
Yeah, at the end of the day, I look like the average American woman. Most average American women are plus size nowadays. I don't want it to be where it's the skinny bitches versus the fat bitches. And that's what people always think. It's
Every year.
Every year, it's one of those things. But outside in the real world, we're all mixed together.
Yeah.
What's the difference? But porn likes to do those labels and the hashtags, and then it makes it almost, and I'm like, wait, no.
You've got your MILFs, you've got your big tit girls, you've got your big ass girls, you got your BBWs, you know what I mean? You've got your Amazon, so it's very categorized. I mean, it always has
But
been.
in the
There's
real
no
world,
way
it
to really
isn't.
like, in the real world it isn't, but that's the way that people search for things that they want.
Yeah.
You know? They're like, I like this, I'm looking this up. you know, and that's how they're finding what they want to see.
I think in a lot of ways that might just be the data that we receive, because I run a porn site that doesn't operate on keywords or categories at all, and I find that people just sort of click around because they don't care who's fucking. They just want to see people fucking.
Yeah.
Right.
And my personal porn habits is I hit random video over and over and over again, just until I find some people humping on a couch, like amateur, that I can just be like, what is that? What did I see? Oh, hot.
I think I see some balls right there.
Oh, cool, but you know, like I don't give a fuck what they look like. I just want to see some weird humping shadows.
Right.
Maybe that's a fetish. I don't know.
Voyeur.
Yeah. So in a lot of ways, I actually do you think that that maybe this like search term data is like too specific to actually really analyze what our career should be?
I think it's keeps changing. I think in the past, you know, the data was very based, but now we have so many different platforms. I don't have many vids. Those people that are on there probably don't know who I am. But if you go into, you know, searchable BBWs, yeah, I'll pop up on the top 5. Probably wouldn't, but then the other way around, fuck, I've never even have a video on that shit, and the people would be like, who the hell is this bitch? It's one of those things. So it's just a whole mixture. It's I don't even know how to.
We're all lumped into BBW, but all of us have these intense careers that are not. We're not just in the same company all the time. All of us are doing such different.
I don't even think I've actually worked with anybody but you.
Yeah, I only have to work with
yeah.
you.
I did that on purpose.
I did like
I did that on purpose. You guys aren't a clique.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, you guys aren't a clique or a gang. I just met you like
We work together.
Yeah. We worked together yesterday. I tried to get like people who weren't just part of a big gang who all had the same ideas. Yeah. So we disagree on some things. Like the contest, the award, the camming, the hardcore. We're clearly not one genre.
Right.
We're like 20 genres up here.
But I feed
So I'd
off
be
of all
interested
your
if
work.
this wasn't a plus size porn
Yes.
group, if this wasn't a plus size porn panel, like what would your specialty be? If we weren't separated from the skinny girls, what porn world would you be in? I would be in the girl porn world, clearly.
Right.
I would be in the extreme.
I would be
Extreme.
Yeah.
like Gonzo puking on a dick type of.
Yeah, gangbangs, extremes, gonzo. I love gonzo porn. It's my thing. It gets me off. I've never been I'm a scripted little princess. For me, it's
scripted.
Yeah. If you've never shot for me or for my website, you know I don't give a shit what we come up with, right? I'm literally there. Let's do this. We're good. End scene. We have 20 minutes. Cool, let's make this happen. I don't care what happens. It works
we're on
for
the
me.
lunch break?
Exactly.
You can put me just an Asian.
True story.
Yeah.
Because I'm completely different from all the other Asians.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, like with the BBW searches, no one is specifically searching Asian BBW because there's 2. So there's like nobody to look for. So you type in BBW and I just hope that I'm filed in there some way, and then someone just happens to, like I round out that curve, like token Asian in the corner, and that's okay with me. But cause I couldn't be hashtag really just as Asian. That they go for that for a specific body type of
Do
Asian.
you like if there was an opportunity to just be in like the biggest Asian porn star next to Asa Akira, like is that where you would be if you weren't pigeonholed into BBW? Would you be doing Asian fetish, or would you be doing?
I don't
like,
do anal, but I would say I'm more role play.
role play?
I'm more role play because
Yeah.
because I'm still. I started as a cam girl. I will end as a cam girl, and I know my customers one by one, and we interact. So it has to be some type of interactive porn. Yeah, because and the POV works because that's also very interactive with the role play, and that's what works for me. That's why I lose my voice and talking too much. And
You've never seen her Snapchat.
You would think all I have to do is show my tits, and that's not how it works. There's lots of great tits at this convention.
Yeah, right.
And so it's not that you have to add your personality.
I didn't even
into
bring
it.
mine.
I figured we'd be covered. So role play, yeah. It's role play because
Yeah.
you have to add your flavor to whatever it is you
Yeah,
got.
I could also
I
see
hate
you
myself
in
from
the
this way down. I
VR
love
thing.
myself from here.
I could also see you in the VR.
I did the
business doing
VR.
a damn good
My
job.
tits
This
were
is a VR
flying
star.
on the GoPro. It was great. VR, it looks amazing for BBWs, and there should be
Yes.
more BBW VR. The curves
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
coming at your face.
Yeah,
It's so
yeah.
great.
Yeah. Mine's definitely MILF. I mean, people a lot of times I find
Wait,
it
how
MILF
old are
fashion.
you?
I'm 38. I'll be 39 in April.
Okay, I've never known that. So
Yeah,
I'm like,
I've got a teenage daughter. I'm a single mom. I'm doing the damn thing, you know. So definitely, I'm not officially a MILF.
She's got
it's
milk,
not
she's a
sorry,
MILF.
but I do have one. But yeah, MILF. Or Amazon. I'm so tall, you know. So I fall into that too. So if we weren't talking about my belly, you know, I would be in that MILF. Amazon cat. I look up to like Allura Jensen. Karen Fisher, I'll be signing with her, you know, so I look up to those females that are kind of like not quite mainstream, but kind of like those thicker body types. That's where I kind of like feel like I am. Yeah.
Is there like a fetish for like mom jeans yet?
Uh-huh.
Like soccer mom van.
Are you serious?
We just filmed
We just filmed. Some guy just sent me vintage Jordache jeans from New York to choose.
Cut out. I was like,
Cut
what am I
out.
filming?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. And I was like, yes, I love this. And so I've been doing a lot of like stepmom fetish, and that's just, and it's fun. And
Do you think that's a genre that like plus size women could just sort of slide into because moms
we look like
have bodies?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's
Mom
realistic?
bod. Mom bod.
Mom bod.
Dad bod, mom bod. There we go.
Move over, dad bod.
Right, hashtag mom bod. For real.
Yeah.
For real. People like, you know,
Mhm.
absolutely. Absolutely. It's easily put me
You
in
do
that
so
role.
much non-porn work too with like the music videos and stuff. Is there an alternate reality in the porn world that's like counter to BBW that you would be a part of if it wasn't all about your belly?
Well, I do. It's not about my belly.
Or whatever. She said all about
I'm
your
not
belly.
about
All about the everything.
I do comedy porn mostly, so
Yeah.
it's spoofs. I do the GT. We did Gogglebox. I did Hard Brexit, XXX with Trump, Donald Trump. Yeah, Theresa May. No, I was playing. Who was I playing? Diane
Go
Abbott.
off on that for a while. Let's talk about hard Brexit.
Yeah, apparently the guy who got caught with the porn and politics, he got sacked and he was watching Hard Brexit. And it was on telly. On
The one
last
in the
leg.
there's only
Yeah.
one in the UK, that one porn guy.
Yeah.
Because here we've got like 17.
Yeah.
The one porn guy.
Well, like as far as like famous guys
Yeah, they were
and like
watching porn
scandals about
appropriately.
porn,
Yeah, no,
like
there's
that's
been a
just an
couple,
American
Yeah, we could be
tradition.
talking about like many people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one, yeah, it's the one.
Instead of
You're like,
being
oh, the
later,
one?
you
That's
know.
nice.
on news.
Over here it's the 100.
Yeah. Just the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was watching you.
Yeah, apparently. I don't know if it was my scene.
Well, no,
but
it doesn't matter. You were on it.
Yeah.
You're taking credit for that.
He's watching Hard Brexit this one.
Yeah.
But it's really funny if you can watch it. It's on television next time.
That's cool.
It's really fun. That's what I do. I like having a laugh when I shoot and having fun. That's what I'm about. So, you know, I'm kind of serious here, but yeah. Not if you shot with me, you know, I ain't fucking serious. I just mess. I'm like, let's just do this shit.
What seem to be your biggest challenges? Mine has been breaking into lesbian. I'll break it open and you can think about it while I really cry my heart out.
Yeah, we cry.
Yeah.
Yeah, big time. Is that I have tried in so many ways to become a plus size lesbian porn star, all girl. For the past 15 years, I have been applying for places like, I don't even want to say their names, you know, Girlfriends, Mile High Video, all those places. And on my size, I'm chubby. I'm like an in-betweeny baby. I've fluctuated from 12 to 14. I can buy clothes in a straight store. I can buy clothes in a plus size store. So for me, it's like really fucking challenging to be like, take a chance on me, you know, and it's either I'm not fat enough for places like Plumper Pass or Score, my tits are not big, and there's just literally no chance for me in any of the sort of girl fantasy worlds because they are always looking for the skinniest, youngest, prettiest little things to be in that. And then, so I was like, okay, I'll try the other route. I'm gonna go to the BBW companies and ask them to do girls. And not only did I didn't cold call them, in fact. I talked to my friends who were already famous in the porn industry and said, hey, what if I work with you for this site? So I would pitch with one of the top talent and be like, hey, Blank, me and Blank wanna do this. She's your top girl, pay us. You can pay me $1,000, who cares? You know, you can take my low rate. No, BBW lesbian doesn't sell. Every single man in the industry told me that.
Yeah, they do say
that
that.
BBW girl doesn't sell. So I made Lesbian Curves in 2008, and it made $10,000. So I made another one called Lesbian Curves 2 Hard Femme. That made $10,000. So I made another one, Lesbian Curves 3, Soft Girls and Strap-Ons, and me and Karla got to do an amazing hardcore scene in that one. And every single one of them won a Feminist Porn Award for Best Lesbian Film. Every single one of them got nominated by either an XBiz or AVN, and I got fucking famous. Like, and then I was the only BBW lesbian all-girl performer, and by that point, you know, I was like, listen, Plumper Pass, if you want my first boy girl, you can give me $3,000, otherwise fuck off.
Because you took
Because
charge of your
I can make
career.
$10,000, so why the fuck would I care about whether you like me or not?
Exactly, no.
And that's when I got to the point where I was just like,
Don't eat the
this really isn't about competitions or the companies. This is about how far am I willing to go to make my business.
Right.
Because this is a performer-based business.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, we go home from our studio shoots and still spend 40 hours on our Snapchat.
Yeah.
And I think that that's like, you know, that's how I sort of overcame it. That really was my biggest challenge, is that everybody told me no.
Yeah.
The lesbian companies told me no fatties. The fat companies told me no dykes. So, do you have a moment?
Yeah.
Or was that just my heartbreaking
No,
story?
no.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to, especially being in this BBW world, we don't have companies shooting us. We have like 2 Plumper Pass and Score if you got big tits. And you're lucky if they'll keep you around for a couple of years. 'Cause I've shot with them for 2 years. They don't want anything to do with me again. I don't know. They're very, very picky. I'm not going to bank on those 2 companies to keep hiring me over and over and over to carry my career, because that's just not realistic.
Not to
you
say
know?
that it's not a great opportunity, and millions
They're
of people will see
great
you,
op-
and it's high production
Absolutely.
value,
but
and you
I
want
am
it.
not going to put my everything into that stuff.
That's just
If
part of it.
that's just bonus during the year, and that's just going to fluff me up, and it's just going to, you know, whatever. But it's up to you and what I want to make out of my career, and get up and make that shit happen. You know? Yeah, absolutely.
For me, I want to be a crossover performer. I want to perform, and out of all of us, April is the only one that's performed with mainstream performers. Here
Not here. Where? What do you mean?
in America, like she's done Wicked and she's done those. None of us have ever done that.
Yeah.
You've done good. I do know that, but like she's one of the top, and I want to do that too. I don't want to. I would love to be the token fat girl in more huge companies. I do porn only to be famous and to get guys to jack off to me. It's not about the money. Fuck it. It's not about the money. No. For me, porn
She has like some other life.
Yeah,
She's
no,
fine.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
I can verify that.
Yeah, I want to be the girl that you masturbate to. Yeah, that's what makes me off. I want when a couple's watching me, when a guy's watching me, they're just thinking about me for that time. That's a fucking rush you don't get anywhere else, and that's what drives me. Fuck the money. I can walk away tomorrow and not hurt my career, not hurt my normal life, but the being somebody's fantasy and having men fall in love with me, having women fall in love with me, having that's a rush that I live off.
So you would say like your biggest challenge is that you haven't been able to do like Vivid and Wicked and be that girl.
I want to do some of the top performers, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I want to do that. And you know what? I'm going with this. Pay me half whatever. I want to see, can I do good for you? Am I going to be good? And I think I can be. I think people like me enough that they will buy your product and you put me on there. Give me a chance, because sometimes we've had other girls try it. Okay, you can sell yourself as a top BBW, but if you can't sell the product, they're not going to give any of us a chance.
Yes.
I want to be the girl that gets a chance. I don't care about the paycheck at the end of the day, but give me that chance. If I can sell for you, let's try again.
I'm the opposite.
Yeah,
Say,
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
almost
yeah.
sick.
I'll fuck the fan. I don't care. I don't need the top names.
I don't
If they
need
don't
top
want to fuck
names.
me
I don't
in a
either.
scene, if they don't want to work with me, that's okay.
Yes, fine.
So I made a whole different kind of series.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, how would I, you know?
How do I get
so,
paid?
So you want to get into lesbian porn? I hate saying it this way. I end up doing lesbian porn because it is hard for me to book
understand.
my male talent.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? And it's not that I give up. It's just that I work my way around it. So I do a lot of the fetishy stuff with the other BBWs because we're more available. We all know each other, and then we have like the 1, 2, 3 people who will shoot with us, the
Yeah,
content
the
constantly.
Male talent.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
let's
so
talk
then I
about
did.
that.
I know, Erin. I know you. You're still in my shoes over there.
Do you all have male talent problems too? There's not enough guys?
Yeah,
there's definitely
it's a
not
very small
The
limit that will do it.
The variety
What's that?
of male talent that can perform well and
Turn up.
look well and that will turn up and
Yeah.
that are professional is minuscule.
What does professional look like?
Turn
Turn up!
The garden to turn up on
look at all these women here.
I
You
know.
see, we're all pulled together nice, and then you get a male talent that's gonna come in, just not even caring, not even showered, not even shaved, and you're like,
You gotta bring your nail clippers to
told
the
one
side.
to bring your clients because I don't do those
One
weird
thing
American
that will
boxing
fix that is
things.
to maybe tell them your face is going to be on camera. This isn't stunt cock. You better show up.
But that's the thing. They think
show
our
your
quality
face.
is less than the pretty blonde bitch that wants. There's no offense, but that's what it is. And no, I'm saying you know what I know. But it's one of those things. They think because we're plus size, maybe they shouldn't care as much.
Charlie,
Like it's like a
it's
second-rate
more-
job or
It's
something?
more complicated than that.
And it has to be.
We're getting there.
Yes, it
5 minutes.
it has to be.
5 minutes. I'm going to give
We
you
gotta
a
let
whole
me speak
5
to
minutes.
this topic.
Oh, this one might be a good one.
Killing
Yeah,
me.
that might be a good
Okay,
one.
alright,
I'll give you
There's a
that one.
stigma for
Alright.
us
Yes.
and a pressure for us.
Yeah.
So I'm one of the most high visibility mainstream performers that regularly shoots BBW, right? Because I was nominated on the mainstream thing Performer of the Year many years for both Expos AVN, and then last year finally for BBW.
There you go.
But I can tell you that when I started doing BBWs, a whole bunch of people came to me and said like, oh, you're gonna fuck up your other companies. People won't shoot you if you go shoot with them.
That's a huge.
Okay, so that it's not like even necessarily that some people don't want to. You are literally told by companies and people that they tell you stories about the old days and they name names, and I'm not gonna name the names, but I think there were because you might know the names. There were because so you probably know there used to be. There's always like a few guys that are into it,
Yeah.
and then they lose. Like
They lose cred.
thin girls won't work with it. See, I don't think it's true now,
familiar.
or I don't think it's
I just
true.
felt like
I don't
goosebumps.
think it's as true. It wasn't true for me because I was already established when I did it,
Yeah.
and I treat it like it's just another thing. But I definitely heard it, and it definitely took me just going, I don't give a fuck.
all right.
So it's not. There's a lot of factors there.
Of course.
It's the same
Right.
thing. Like if I today even now wanted to do a trans scene, a million more people would come to me and be like, "Wow, Eric, if you ever shoot
was
that,
the-
then you're never gonna."
Right.
Which I don't think any of that should be the case.
Right.
Yeah,
But-
and that's the connection I was
but-
making was like that sounds like exactly what happens with agencies is they say if you do that you'll lose your job, and just other companies will say we're not going to shoot you if you go bareback, we're not going to shoot you if you work with trans women, we're not going to shoot you if you work with BBWs.
So I was fairly scared at the beginning, and now I'm sort of, I don't know what I think about it. When I first started shooting it, I was like, is this gonna fuck me up or whatever? But I heard a lot of stuff, and even now, I have a hard time figuring out because these are some of my favorite people in the whole industry now. But like, I still am confused about should I mix this with my brand for my company? Because
We have nicer shoes.
no, there's more detailed reasons. So yeah, it took me not caring that everyone was saying not to do it.
So do you get nervous to repost any of your
I don't
BBW
do
work?
it. I flat out don't do it. because
what's that all
You
about?
gotta
because
Alexander.
because
I
I
don't even know
have
this fact.
because I have multiple brands.
I know you do.
And what I'm trying to do, and I was funny because I'm talking to so I'm thinking of launching a 4th brand that is my stuff with BBW, and I'm confused about it because
Do you feel it's that necessary? They have to create a whole.
no, it's
different-
it's totally confusing now.
Yeah.
Because first I had my live thing, and then I had my foot fetish thing, and then I had and at the beginning I was smushing all that together, and I got all this feedback like that just totally confuses everyone.
Sure.
So I just finally separated them all out. And then now I'm like, I have all this BBW content. So do I just mix it in, or do I go like Eric John's BBW thing, or whatever? I can't decide. It's very confusing. I can tell you that the fans that pick up on the BBW scenes seem intensely loyal, similar to my heel and foot fetish. So like.
Oh, we know. Once we get
So what
there,
happens
our
with
lifers-
what I
Yeah, we
observe?
know that.
What I observe with the general fans is they'll dip in and out of the website based on who I hire that day or whatever. But the foot fetish people and the BBW people, they will watch every fucking thing that you post if they figure out that you're a source of that
So
topic.
what are you? What's
So
the holdback then?
It's the scary
A
thing.
little leftover of
Here?
I don't even like when I was nominated for the BBW Performer of the Year, I didn't quite know how to handle it because I wasn't sure like if I wanted to be quote known for that. Because still to this day people
but
are
we need you to do that.
I know
We
that.
have
I know
the
that, and I'm
trust
trying to
for it.
find. See, if I was financially secure enough to be in a place where I didn't care if my performing jobs got impacted, I would totally do it. And it's the same thing with the transsexual thing. But since I'm still not, like, there's months I can't make it still. So
That's just an American.
there's just so many factors, and you're judged by so many things that we shouldn't be judged for still. That there's intent, like
But
I,
that's what we're trying
Okay.
to fight.
I know that.
So what,
And I-
what I'm gathering here is
Right.
that it's
So I-
just as hard for male talent to work in the BBW industry as BBWs do.
Totally,
So that's really
absolutely true.
that's
Yeah.
really information. Like, thank you.
So
for
that's
that.
why you get, I mean, with all due respect, you get people that don't give a fuck because they don't have a career to protect in the first place.
My
So-
advice is like me and LingLing. I did my first boy girl last month, and Miss LingLing, 2 years in the biz, took my 15-year-old ass and took me to a BG set, and I felt amazing. And he wasn't known at all. Like, my advice is to look outside the industry and find rad guys, get tested with them, and use them. And I'm hoping to like find like a porn boyfriend who will just be like my guy that I work with,
volunteer
because I am a lesbian for the most part. I just want my guy that I work with. I
Yeah.
think I know you got me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a very good 2018 when it comes to boy girl work. for
I
sure.
have a list.
I
Don't
have a
worry.
sense,
Yeah,
yes.
I follow. There's multiple of mine, so
Yeah.
you can have one.
And I would dare say that those guys, and maybe it's a generational thing because there just has been so many holdups in the you can't do this, it'll ruin your career, is we're gonna find guys who don't give a fuck
Yeah.
about that.
Well,
We're gonna find
exactly.
new guys who give a fuck about
Yeah.
themselves and about us, and we're going to bring them into the industry and not just use the 2 or 3 really awesome guys that are working with us.
I think
but we're
it
gonna
is
expand
changing
that.
in the right direction. I think
Yeah, it's changing
like
a lot.
like the trans thing is night and day from a few years ago,
yeah.
and even this is really. I
We're
mean,
getting there. We're at the cusp.
This
Yeah.
is
5-year
this is
mark.
a huge deal, even though we got a small town.
I think it's all smushing together, and I'm getting close to the point where I don't give a fuck.
Great.
But
Can we open it up to questions, because I have 20 more minutes, and I promise you can talk to us afterwards, but I want to make sure that everybody gets a chance. All right, so thank you so much.
I'll take it.
I really quickly I want to know what's the title of the thing you're making right now, or what are you doing right now?
You
What's the
convinced
next
me
thing
to
you're
do a movie,
releasing?
a BBW sex club movie. That was your idea. I have a sex club I host every month. We brought a camera. We brought a little crew with us. We had how many girls? 5 girls.
5 girls, 3 guys.
If that shit's not nominated next year, then we made a mistake.
They made a mistake. If they didn't nominate us, they made a mistake. Miss LingLing, what are you doing right now?
Well, today or yesterday we filmed the Girl.
Was it?
Yesterday we filmed Girl with Charles. You guys know Charles? And he's doing that solos and lesbians shot in slow motion with no sound or with the voiceover. And I've never done that before. It's very weird POV. Yeah, it's beautiful, and it's geared for men and women because you're looking at it and it's so pretty.
You're perfect for
it's
that.
Like a pillow. I was like, oh shit, we look good. I don't even like you. But you look, man, and I was like, oh, you look like you want to fuck me so bad. He made that shit look good. And that's the only thing I can, that's why I'm like, I need to expand and continue to work with professionals. Even though I love doing my many bits thing, I can stop right now and make double if I just logged the fuck in and camped and just stayed home.
Right
With
now.
no traveling, none of this shit, no talent testing. I don't need it, but I like doing it. I'm addicted to making porn. I'm putting more money into it than I'm getting out, and I don't know how long it's gonna last. So I'm just riding the wave for as long as it goes. But yeah, that's the only reason why I keep doing all these tours.
Busty, what are you making right now?
Well, I'm making films with all of you American girls here while I'm here. And when I go back, I'm going to be doing my next series. That'll be a BBW series, so I'll be producing, writing that one. And also, I might be in an Italian Vogue next when I come back home.
You might be in Italian Vogue next
Yeah, I've
month.
done one Italian Vogue before.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, it's impressive.
And there's a lot of stuff going on in the fashion world right now.
Yeah.
My friend just
Anti-porn.
did
I slide
from.us. Yeah, they won't hire me as a model because I do porn, but whatever. My best friend's fashion company, no big deal. And Good American is another brand that I really like. It's Khloe Kardashian. I know.
Yeah, okay.
She is my favorite Kardashian.
Yeah, I have one.
She just started a clothing line that goes from size 1 to size 28. And I just think when I look at the stuff that's happening in the fashion industry and in mainstream television, I'm just wondering when porn is usually the innovator. And I'm just wondering when porn is going to actually catch up
We are.
to this work where we have a porn company that is size 0 to size 28, like, or size 40, you know, like, let's
I've
go
always
for
wanted
it.
to do that. But
Yeah.
It's just the money, and I need a backer, and I've been to ASOS and stuff, and I've done all that plus size thing. But they're really anti-porn people. They don't like us at all. Like, I was like, can I try the hold-ups? They all looked at me like, oh my god, hold-up.
Yeah.
You want to try this kinky hold-up? I was like, yeah. Why not? I was like, it's okay. It's okay.
It's okay seeing that.
It's okay for us to be sexy. It's like, they're all prudish.
And what are you working on right now?
I'm working on Lila Lovely XXX.com. Just
Woo.
really working on my website. And Exotica's starting up again after this, so getting ready to go on tour with Exotica again. So that's fun.
Awesome.
And me and Lila have twin bodies, by the way.
Yeah.
Are you the same height?
Yeah. We have the same proportion, same everything.
It's
We're
weird.
like,
We're naked together, like, it's like looking in the mirror, but I'm black. My body twin!
Can And I am in my 3rd year of grad school. I'm getting 2 back-to-back masters. And I quit directing 3 years ago in order to start the school process. But I have become a boy-girl performer this year. So I'm diving into the hardcore world, and that's what I've been working on right now. And with that, those were my prepared questions. And we have 15 minutes. And I would love to hear from people who have questions. Questions.
anyone?
Any
Comments?
It's good.
questions?
Back there.
Anyone?
Where do you shop for clothes for your shoots?
Ooh, I knew a heartthrob question was going to come up.
I'm an Amazon whore. I buy everything on Amazon, and if it doesn't fit me, I take it to my tailor. I'm like, can we make this corseted so I can fit into it? That's my trick.
Where should we be shopping?
BeyondSexyLingerie.com. Is that your shop? Yeah.
I met these girls in the hall.
Well
So
played.
these 2 right here run a lingerie shop, and they really wanted to come to this. Do you need any models?
Yeah. So do you guys
erotica conventions at all?
No, I don't. I'm just getting started.
I literally scour the conventions for plus size booths, and all I can find is like the Chinese, and I'm tall too.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like it's stretching. It's so frustrating. So I would love to see some plus size fashion and lingerie at the conventions. It's lacking. You guys really could find your niche there. Mm-hmm.
I like to do a lot of shoots naked. I'm serious. And early on in my AVN relationship, I met somebody who was reviewing a bunch of BBW porn, and he had told me that girls were always hiding their tummies, or like wearing clothes and just like showing the pussy and the tits. Mm-hmm. And he was just like, please, just whatever you do, just get naked. And I was just like, I'm gonna go for that. Yeah. So
I can't stand
I like
the baby doll lingerie when it's like a sheer around my belly, and I'm like, what is it? It does not need to be there. It's okay.
I also like really strappy bondagey things. So if I can find something that I can tear up or
Fashion
tie up,
Nova these days.
Every dress I'm wearing for every party and the convention floor today is Fashion Nova.
Nice.
And I never purchased from them. It wasn't my thing. And I'm like, oh, wait, their sizes are actually really forgiving. And I have a thing where
She's got one of my Fashion Nova dresses on.
It's
It's a 3X, it fits the screws, so it works.
I've got a pretty little thing on today.
I knew there was gonna be.
Yes, I'm not conservative.
Oh wait, I'm wearing. I'm just like, get me out of here. I'm wearing my
Anyone want something? Take it, because I'm trying to get all the boyfriend cam stuff home.
She's like, take my old dresses. I need some
Take all
cam
my
toys.
shit, I'll just
I'm
rebuy
taking
it.
it. There you go. Yeah.
We're going shopping at Busty Cookies after this.
Good question. I love that question.
Can we go back to the tube site thing a second? Because there's a lot of money for you guys in there.
Oh no. We'll talk about it afterwards. But
No,
yes.
but that's some
Does anybody have any questions though?
people should hear that info.
I know.
It's that can be
Talk
a
to
whole
people
1
about
hour.
it. Yeah,
hour
like
thing.
talk to people about it.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
I have is like I really want to just do porn with all different bodies and work with skinny young girls, like all colors. I just want it to be like a Benetton ad of all different sizes. Like I really want it to be more erotic film, but with penetration, so that it can be feminist porn that women watch, but men can still jerk off to if they fast forward to the 5-minute, 10-minute hardcore scene, and they So I'm just trying to figure out how to bridge that over, because I don't want it to just be BBW. I want to be with like everybody, and in real life I'm with everybody. I'm with all kinds of different hot people. So why just on film limit it to just BBW? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, exactly. You have to do that. That's not my thing. That's probably not our thing. But that's something you want to do.
I really don't shoot with a ton of BBW girls. I mean, I was supposed to be shooting with Karen Fisher this week, and I'm signing with her booth later today. I've shot with Brock Doom a few times. He's totally BBW friendly. There's people out there. There's creative people, open-minded people out there. It's not as obvious, but once you get around, you start to make your contacts. You'll find those people, and you just make it happen.
Yeah.
You just make it happen.
And you know me. I also don't do a lot of BBW scenes. I often have to remind myself to like go and shoot with other fat girls because they're like people. And after a while I'll be like, oh, I really need to do a BBW scene or else I'm just gonna go crazy. Mm-hmm. My advice is to really like work your network of performance artists. I know you a little bit, so I'm like performance artists, drag queens and kings. And what was I gonna say? There was one other one. Sex workers, duh. Your friends who are sex workers, maybe they want to do stuff on camera with you, or no face, maybe, who knows. But I on the Benetton crew as well. I want to see all bodies together all the time. And when you get your chances to make your own content, I think that's the time to shine. Yeah. I just worked with Jane Way the other day, the non-binary sex worker.
The tag is right there. BBWs with thin girls.
And
really?
yeah,
Just
I
click
made
on
a
that
lot
tag.
of money off of BBW with thin chicks
Yes.
off of many vids and clips for
And
sale.
I filmed with Little Mina. She's one of the top producers on many vids.
I try not to make it like a fetish thing.
No,
if there was a
we
big
did
small
an
fetish,
awesome
I would actually
strap-on,
be the small.
hardcore strap on.
I'm short. I'm wearing you're wearing flats. So generally, I'm the little person in the big and little scenes.
Yes. So I'm having a challenge with editing. It's like my main problem. So do you all do your own editing, or do you have somebody to help you?
I don't edit. I start. Whatever goes on. My person's here and she is upset with me sometimes. But I'm like, no, just leave it in. Just leave it in. I don't care. There's been certain things that I'm like, most people would edit that out. But I almost go with, hey, it happened. We're good. It's gonna. People are gonna still jack off to it. And sorry, it didn't go the way it was, or the angle wasn't 100% right, or you just shoved 4 fingers in me instead of 5. But it happens.
Editing is really difficult for me, and I find it extremely overwhelming, and that's why I went with Dirty Diva and got myself a webmaster, because again, I'm a mom, so it's like I'm shooting porn and I've got a teenager. It's like I can't be doing all of it. I want to be, and I know I can be, but in this moment when I'm launching, I'm like a year in my website. I just can't do it quite all. So my main website, I've got my webmaster, and she helps me, and she does that. Many vids and clips for sale, I'm stumbling through it myself, learning how to do the little edits on the 10-20 minute clips. I can handle that in piecing, and then it's like, ooh, all right, I'm proud of myself. I did good, but it takes me hours, and it is overwhelming. And sometimes I'm like, maybe it's better just to pay somebody to edit it and do it, and I do what I like to do, and then I do the performance. But it's tough. It's a lot of work.
I edit all my stuff, so I edit, and my boyfriend's the cameraman and producer, so he edits as well. But he's separate. We do things separately. We're not like one of those couples that do everything together.
It's not the cat that's editing.
But I edit it. Yeah.
No, it's not the cat that's editing. It's always on
But
the
yeah, the
computer.
cat can edit.
Yes.
She types and she
Yeah.
starts. She does it. I got the picture.
I know. I've seen it.
Yeah, the cat edits. The cat types. I do it. I do it all. I usually use. I used to do Photoshop and stuff, so I'm good at all that stuff. So yeah, I'm not
I
great
film
yet.
everything in 4K on my phone. If I can't edit on my phone, I have people who do it for $1 a minute. And that's all I can do.
So you do it all on your phone?
I do it all on my phone.
That's
And I accidentally deleted a scene on accident. So I need to remember to download it back to my drive first as backup, and then right. No, but I have a compressed version, but I lost the 4K version because I had so much space taken up on my phone. But it's just so easy. There's so many apps I can do on video, and the ones I can't, just send it to whoever sometimes who you're working with is better at doing it and work out a deal. And then I found at least 2 people now that I know will do it for $1 a minute because I don't have time.
Yeah, it's very time consuming.
I'm not a mom, so I usually do have time to edit. And space. I'm not in film school. No, I taught myself how to edit when I made my first movie, Roulette, and that was in 2008. And I had all these different cameras, so it was really difficult, and all I had was iMovie. And I was, after that experience of making Roulette with iMovie, I'm like, I'm never using iMovie again. And then I went through all the processes of like learning Final Cut Pro, and then I switched to Premiere. Premiere is my favorite. It takes everything really nicely, but then I was in a bind on my school laptop doesn't have Premiere, and I really had to do something, so I put it in iMovie, and lo and behold, it's kind of better than Premiere now.
It is.
It's like drag and drop. Titles, don't use crazy transitions, please. It's really easy, actually. So iMovie has kind of come to a place where I would really recommend it for anybody who doesn't know. The first thing about editing, just pull your film in there, watch it, and it lets you cut it up really easily. And you can make your own music in GarageBand too if you want like a little 20-minute intro or whatever.
20 minutes or a second?
20 second. Or, sorry, that's when I'm scoring my entire film and I sit there with the
There's a new one on the the iPhone. I have the new iPhone 10, and it has a Lumiere Pro, and it's as good as Final Cut and Premiere on your iPhone, and it's all touch screen.
Wow.
And you can do everything right there. And it's pretty amazing.
Yeah. So when I was making that like big argument about how studios need us more than we need them right now, it's because of these really simple turns in technology that have been happening in the adult industry for 10 years. You know, we practically invented the VCS or VCH back in the day. You know, so we practically
point in
invented 3D television. You know, like we are the people who bring forward this technology. So I chose these women because they're all really good at using that technology to sort of get through the crazy swampy world that is the BBW porn industry and do something innovative that makes them stand out as performers. So I just want to give like a huge round of applause to these ladies. And if we could get websites or a place where you could come and tribute these babes.
Great. My website is lilalovelyxxx.com. Find me on Snapchat. It's LLovelyXXX. Instagram, Lila_LovelyXXX. Twitter, Instagram, Twitter, everywhere. So Lila Lovely.
And mine's BustyCookie.com, as based with Model Centro. I run it myself, and yeah, everything's Busty Cookie. It's easy to find.
And she's bought like raunchycookie.com, sluttycookie.com, because she doesn't want anybody to steal her domain. No more cookies.
She's the only cookie.
I learned that yesterday. She's the only cookie.
Okay, I was the only Karla for a very long time, and then another one came out. I'm like, damn it! I thought sticking with my original name would work.
I would cut someone who named themselves Trouble.
Just
I think everybody else in this room would too. Like, you have my back, right?
So my website is
They were there.
Karla with a K, Lane XXX, and then my Twitter is Karla XXX Lane. Again, it's on the 6th one. If I make it through the 7th one, you know, I'm just saying, cross your fingers, it stays around.
So my Twitter is @LingLingBBW. My Instagram is miss.linglingbbw. I had to change that one a few times to get that going. My website is misslingling.com, and my ManyVids is misslingling.manyvids.com.
Find me on ManyVids, or check out my company at troublefilms.com. Thank you.
Thank you.